Hey guys, it's September 11th, 2012, about 11 o'clock from where I'm at, so I'm sure by now everyone's gotten their 9/11 Facebook posting done, and I thought I would make a video just talking about 9/11 from my perspective. I was 7 going on 8, and it was a somewhat normal day for a second grader. My mom and stepdad, it was actually their 2-year anniversary, so they were going to go out that night. And I was going to have a babysitter whom I could be a brat to and get away with it because my parents weren't home. But on the car ride home, it was very quiet, and about halfway home, my mom said something along the lines of, there was an attack, these people took over planes and crashed them. And I didn't even understand the concept of death around that time, so I was just very quiet. But like a lot of people, they stayed home that night, and we watched the news until it was our bedtime. So the next day, like almost every school, if not every school in America, we had a moment of silence. And growing up, obviously, I started to understand more. But my junior year in high school, I had the privilege of having a teacher who was a cop on duty the day of the attack. And one day he decided to share his story. He was very blunt about the whole thing. He would smack his hand on the desk and say, that's what it sounded like if you were close enough. You would just hear this constant noise, and it was people's bodies hitting the concrete, the people who jumped out of the window. So, being on duty that day, he had to respond, and he was about a block away from ground zero when the second tower started to collapse. So he jumped into the nearest vehicle, which happened to be an ambulance, and he opened the door and there were just people crammed in, and he manages to squeeze himself in, close the door, and as soon as he closes the door, he could hear the debris just rushing over the ambulance. So for his remaining time as a cop in New York, he helped with the cleanup, and he showed us pictures of his group cleaning up and looking for bodies. So here comes the cheesy and cliche part of my video. I want to thank everyone involved in 9/11, except the terrorist, of course. Every police officer, firefighter, nurse, doctor, volunteer, every military personnel, whether it's past, present, or future. Thank you, and I have nothing but respect for you all, as well as my family. I actually had an aunt who was in the Army overseas in Iraq, and a cousin ship out for the Navy today. So, on an ending note of my video, the war in Iraq ended December 18th, 2011, officially. So, this is the first 9/11 since the war has been over. So, go America.